Hello, my name is Joy Ashby Cornthwaite, and I will be your host for this episode of the live stream show MyDiabetesHQ Live. Advice and perspective gained by spending time with others who understand what you are going through can be just the support you need on your diabetes journey. Today, we will be joined by SuggaMamas, a virtual peer support group based in Philadelphia that is connecting people living with diabetes to increase knowledge, resources, and most importantly, support. Today's episode is coming up right now. You don't want to miss this. Hi, everyone. A gentle reminder before we begin, the content shared during the MyDiabetesHQ Live broadcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you have regarding any medical condition. This weekly broadcast is developed and produced by Cities Changing Diabetes volunteers in Houston and Philadelphia. Our cities are the U.S. members of a global network of 36 cities working to improve diabetes prevention, care, and management all around the world. You can learn more about Cities Changing Diabetes by going to citieschangingdiabetes.org. The purpose of the live stream is to help people with diabetes and their support teams, and today we're talking about peer support. Let's welcome our guests. Good morning. We have Miss Linda Burke.
Good morning.
Hi, a SuggaMama participant. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. And we also have Dr. Neva White.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. White. And we have Dr. Deborah Witt.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Witt. And rounding out our amazing panel and crew is Serena Valentine, CEO of Core Initiatives here in Houston. She is our diabetes peer support lead. All right, everyone. So let's begin with Miss Linda. Hi, Miss Linda. I'm going to come to you so that you can begin our show with just sharing with the viewers and with us as well what being a participant in SuggaMamas has done for you, what it means for you.
Okay, well, my story starts really 60 years ago with not being in a traditional family and not having a sit-down balanced meal every day and just kind of eating whatever I could find. And that actually spilled over into my adult life. When I started working, I had money and I just bought fast foods and just ate, on the run. And then when I was in my 40s, I was told by the doctor my blood pressure was elevating and he put me on a medication and I still didn't take it too serious. But then in 2016, I had a stroke and that's when I started taking my blood pressure very seriously and I cut back on certain foods like pork, processed meats, salty snacks. But then I compensated that with sugar. I started eating chocolate chip cookies and sweet potato pies and cakes and things like that. And of course, eating breads and potatoes and rice. And my A1C went from 5.7 to 6.2. That's when I had another wake-up call. And as life would have it, a friend of a friend contacted me about SuggaMamas. And she thought I had diabetes. And I said, no, I have hypertension. I said, but, my A1C is rising. And she said, well, the program is available if you're interested. And I said, well, sure, I'm interested. And I did all the sessions of that program. One thing about the program, you're with people that you don't even know, but are in the same or the similar situation that you're in. And you're taught what a carbohydrate is because what did I know about carbohydrate? I knew about meats, fruits, vegetables, but carbohydrate, I just thought you're supposed to eat potatoes and rice and pasta and as much bread as you want. So I was taught that you should eat from a 9-inch plate. I was taught how many carbs you should eat at your meals and how many calories, how many grams of fiber. And these are things that, being a single woman and never having to plan a meal, I just never ever thought about. So SuggaMamas really saved my life. It held me accountable. So during the week when I went to grocery shop or getting ready to put something in my mouth, I had to think about it twice. Now I'm reading labels, which is something that I've never done in my life. My A1C has gone down to 5.9. I have a doctor's appointment later on this month, and I'm hoping that at least it's back to 5.7. But SuggaMamas is an educational program. It's very informative. It held me accountable. And I guess it's sort of like Weight Watchers. I always wondered, why do people go to Weight Watchers? Why didn't they just stop eating? But now I understand you need to be accountable to someone. And the price is right because it's free.
That's amazing. So thank you so much, Miss Linda, for starting that off. I love that you said that, they saved your life, they changed your life.
Yes.
And I also love that you said it was by word of mouth, somebody who you knew told you that you should do this. And so you decided to participate. And now, on that note, let me throw it to Dr. White, to Neva. Tell me a little bit about, what's in the name. What's in the name of SuggaMamas? How did that, I'm sure that was, it was easy for her friend to tell her friend that this was called SuggaMamas. You should join this. But tell us a little bit about that. Oh, you're muted.
Well, sorry about that. So SuggaMamas Diabetes Prevention and Management, we actually started this organization in 2017, and we really thought about the name. One of the things that we hear, I have a touch of sugar and sugar. We hear that in Black and brown communities, and it really has a negative connotation and somewhat of a myth associated with it as it relates to how you get diabetes. So what we wanted to do, we wanted to first change the spelling of the word, and then we wanted to focus on women. So we know that mothers or mamas usually are the influencers in the family. And we know that mamas really are the ones that really make a lot of the health decisions in a family. And when we think about women and diabetes, we know that we're dealing with many times a different disease than when we focus in on men. We know that heart disease is the combination of heart disease and diabetes. We see greater risk in women. And then when we infuse hormones and just being of the childbearing age and everything that goes into menopause, not to mention the fact that women, particularly in the Philadelphia area where we're based, and particularly women of color, we know that there are enormous health disparities. So we wanted to do something to reach these women and really make a difference in diabetes and pre-diabetes in this city. So that's why we chose SuggaMamas. And I kind of think it's catchy. We kind of think it's catchy too. But we want to empower women. We really want to empower men, not leaving the men out, but we really want to empower the mamas.
Yeah. And I see Dr. Witt nodding her head. It's saying that she wants to come in and say something too. You're a board member, Dr. Witt. Tell us a little bit about how you are participating yourself in.
Thank you for asking. I am so delighted to be a part of SuggaMamas. Dr. Neva came to me, and she comes to me often. She says, I would like for you to participate. This is really going to be awesome. And my schedule didn't really permit it. But can I tell you, when I joined up on one of the boot camps, I had a ball. And that's because the wonderful thing is I had an opportunity to share space with my how would I say, my patients outside of the office. So the in the four walls, I had to limit what I have to do and say, but now I get a chance to share the space outside the doctor's office and hear the challenges that patients are really going through that they may not share in the office. They may be afraid or may not have enough time. So I got an opportunity to exercise with the team, educate, and empower them that if I could be in the boot camp, they can do it too.
That's incredible. And Miss Linda, how did it feel to see like a clinician, several clinicians in the boot camp with you?
It was wonderful. The guest speakers were tremendous, but I must say personally, the podiatrist really touched me. And I know that sounds strange because most people would probably think the dentist would, really scare you. But when I saw the slides of the patients with diabetes and how their feet looked, that really frightened me. It really did, because you can pull all your teeth and get 2 plates, but you can't replace your feet. And I just really said, I got to do something about this. I got to stay on this regimen. I got to start exercising more. And I do have to watch everything that I put in my mouth. And I don't know, maybe Dr. Witt can answer this question. It seems as though the older I get, the more I crave sweets. When I was younger, I didn't care about cake and pie and cookies and all of that stuff. But it seems like now you're sitting around about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and you're watching your favorite show on TV, and you just want a slice of something. Is that like
no, I don't.
Is that a real thing?
No, it's not a real thing. It's not a real thing. It's just that you want something that you know you shouldn't have.
Okay.
And so we always want something that we can't have. I don't think there's a medical answer for that.
Sometimes it's comfort, sometimes it's comfort eating. Sometimes it's, carbohydrates make our brains happy. And so that might be what is happening. And then it slowly becomes a habit. So you want to train yourself to something else that's not a food behavior in that situation so that you could do something different.
I like it that you said that, Joy, because one of the challenges you have is what is really the root reason why I want that piece of bread or that apple. And if you can identify, is it because I'm sad? Is it because I need something crunchy? Or what is it? Or is it because I'm low, my sugar is low? If you can identify what it is, then maybe you can make a better choice. So I thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, exactly. So I've heard Miss Linda talk about risk reduction, so like feet and dental. I've heard her talk about the importance of accountability as well as healthy eating. So I'm going to come to Miss Neva so she can share with the viewership how the different modules, how the different boot camp days addresses all of these types of things and why and where that your curriculum is based.
Right. So we wanted to make sure that this work was evidence-based. So we went to the AADE7, which is now the Association of Diabetes Educators and Care Specialists. And we went to their 7 self-care behaviors, and we looked at those behaviors and said, We want to take each of those behaviors and create a workshop around them. And these are evidence-based behaviors that we see if we can improve these areas, such as taking medications, eating healthy, problem solving, reducing risk. If we could approach each of these behaviors in a way that we can encourage behavior modification, change, and give people not only information, but tools and skills to do what they need to do to approach these behaviors. So we have created each workshop around these behaviors. So the boot camp starts out with about 20 minutes of physical activity. So we do a low impact cardio workout. We try to have a lot of fun with it, get you moving. You can do it seated, you can do it standing up. And we also provide you with this little exercise routine that you can continue throughout the week, because we want you to continue to be active. And we make sure you understand that we'd like to see you get in 150 minutes of physical activity a week. What's some of the rationale behind some of those activities? Then we have a workshop, and the workshop is presented by a health professional in one of those areas. And then we try to save a little time at the end to talk about accountability and what it means to be accountable to yourself as far as your health is concerned. And for many of us, especially the mamas, we're accountable to so many others, and so we're responsible to so many people that sometimes we leave out our own self-care.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to really focus in on your own self-care and what it means to be accountable to yourself.
Yeah, that's important, especially since, like you said, mamas and sometimes papas, who are your participants, a lot of us are those roles in our families, and we, tend to care about a lot of others. And we have responsibilities to a lot of others. And so this is a really great time for, it sounds like the boot camp, the workshops are a really good time to focus on you.
Yes, and we actually have our next boot camp is scheduled to start the first Saturday in March. And we will have a pharmacist. Dr. Amy Egris is going to join us. She is a pharmacist. However, she has a specialty in culinary medicine. So she's going to be joining us using food as medicine. And each week we'll have a different provider to come on. We're going to be talking about heart health. We're also going to have an audiologist from Jefferson who's going to be talking about the relationship between hearing and diabetes, which is something we don't often talk about. A lot of people don't understand the relationship and seeing hearing loss as a complication. So each session, we try to bring new information. We try to do it in a way that's innovative and fun, so that people can get information maybe that they hadn't thought about, or that they hadn't had the chance to really be one-on-one and kind of facing a provider and asking some questions. So it's an opportunity to get that information out and really add to people's resources in terms of what they need to manage diabetes as well as pre-diabetes.
Super. Excellent. That sounds really great.
And Joy, I was just going to say another thing is that when we get together with those questions, there are some people who are afraid to ask the question. And so someone says a question and then they get an answer, and it tells the entire group how awesome it is. I was going to ask that question, but I was nervous, or so on and so forth. So it really gives the chance to help each other, not just yourself.
Yeah. And I think that this this evidence-based curriculum overlaid with this peer support, very, very in-depth peer support, is something that's super important. So we know that peer support improves outcomes. We know that. And we know that peer support can improve, studies have shown, can improve hemoglobin A1Cs by 1%, which is equivalent to very many medications, and also equivalent to, it's been said, about a 35% risk reduction, which is monumental. So I know Serena does the peer support here in Houston. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the benefits. But since you brought it up, Dr. Witt, I'm going to show you one of the slides that we actually pulled from Reframe Health, and their videos are available online as well as at the ADCES, or the Association of Diabetes Care and Education Specialists website. Let me show you a few clips from it, just exactly what you were talking about, Dr. Witt. So peer support allows peer-to-peer advice. So it's practical advice and emotional support, very similar to, you know, when a new mom gets advice from a mom who already has several kids. So I've been through this. What did you find helped? And then what you were saying is that some people may want to identify questions. You know, they have questions and they want to be honest, ask for help, and then you can throw it out to your peers, and they may be able to create and tell you about things that you didn't really realize that that you had questions about even before. So, Serena, what would you like to add on about peer support?
Well, just from my personal experience, it doesn't only help the people who are in the program, but it helps the peer supporter as well. As you all already know, I've been dealing with type 2 for almost 18 years now, and it kind of helps when you get to help other people, and sometimes you even learn things you didn't know yourself. There's no amount of time of dealing with diabetes that you get at a point where you know everything. You know, there's so much information about it. There's so many ways diabetes can affect the body that you can literally learn something new every time you have a peer support meeting, or, you know, come to a SuggaMamas boot camp, you know. So it like I said, it not only helps the participant, but it helps the peer supporter, and it provides accountability. I can't very well, and I say this all the time, y'all. I can't ask people, so are you eating right? Are you exercising? Are you getting your rest? Are you you know, using stress reliever techniques and things like that? And I'm not doing it myself, because they're gonna look at me like, well, what are you doing? You know, because I have participants that want to ask me, well, Miss Serena, do you do this stuff that, you know, I've had a snappy participant just be like, okay, well, I understand everything that I looked up everything that you told us to do, and it's accurate. But do you do this stuff yourself? And I'm like, yes, I have to, because I can't tell you to do it, and I'm not doing it. You know, everyone has their different journeys with diabetes, and their diabetes affects them in different ways. But taking care of yourself is all the same. Self-care is all the same. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that you said that, Serena. You had a snappy participant. I have the same. Sometimes my patients will ask me too. They're like, "Hey, Miss Joy, do you do all this? Do you eat all these things yourself?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am. I do all of these things myself." So this one, what you were talking about, Serena, speaks to this part of the video, the peer support video, where it says, you don't feel alone because you know that there's other people like you out there. And then you spoke to the gift of helping others because it makes you feel stronger. And I want to throw that back to Miss Linda as well. How, you know, being a diabetes champion, a participant champion, how does that make you feel, being able to help others and then in turn helping yourself as well?
Well, I've been helping others my whole life because I was a welfare caseworker. So that's just what I do. But I believe that when you learn something, you share it with others, whatever it is, diabetes or anything in life. I just believe in sharing with people. And that's a problem with a lot of folks. They learn things or they know things, they don't share them. I don't know what the thinking is behind that, but I mean, you just, like, men men are taught to be, hard and, just don't cry, don't do this, but you have to show emotion. You have to share with others. And I think if more people would talk to each other, they probably wouldn't have as many emotional problems as they have, and nor would they have as many physical problems as they have. But I think that also in our brown and Black communities, sometimes we tend to think that sharing is weakness. And you don't want to be seen as less than or a weak person. And we need to get over that. And we need to talk with each other and share what information you have, share it with someone else. You may save their life, or you may save someone's life and their families.
That's great. That's great. I love that you said it's about community and it's about helping others. I think that's, I was reading an article today about the Native American community and how they're approaching COVID testing. And so, not COVID testing, COVID vaccines. And they were saying that instead of making it an individual process, the community is looking at it as a way to save the entire community. And so I think SuggaMamas is one of those things that provides individual strength so that you can reach out to your communities. Because the very basis of having, a mama, every community has a mama. She may not be your mother, she may not be your auntie, but she's someone who cares for you. And in our communities, it's very true all around the world, people of color, we take in the entire community and we become mamas to everybody. And so I think that community aspect to your program, wouldn't you say, Neva, is very, very important. And it's something that's very practical.
Absolutely. And, traditionally, our boot camps were a one-day comprehensive program, and we had about 150 to 200 people attend. And we had 4 boot camps scheduled in 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic. And we were like, well, what are we going to do? We have all of these programs scheduled, but we had to cancel them all like everybody else. So we got together and decided to do this virtually. We weren't sure how it would work. We weren't sure really all the moving parts. But what pleasantly surprised us was the sense of community established through getting together. I think it came at the right time for so many people. People were quarantining alone. People were missing that health. Some people were afraid to go to see their provider. Just something was going on socially. And camp was an opportunity not only to learn about health and managing diabetes and what to do about prediabetes, but it was also an opportunity for you to know you're not alone and that many of us were going through the same thing. And it was almost just a place to just to feel better, to feel a sense of normalcy. And then we brought in mindfulness and stress reduction and meditation and so many tools that people could use to help just with everyday stuff that was going on in the world. So it really came at a good time. And I don't see us ever, I think we're going to keep the virtual platform well beyond the pandemic. The other important thing is we can reach people beyond the Philadelphia area. So we've had people from Florida, we've had people from North Carolina join us, and we even have the potential to have a global reach. That has been the beauty of, that has happened. We're able to connect globally, interstate. It's just exciting, the possibilities of what this boot camp experience can do for people. And we're excited about it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, since you've been saying so many great things, other people, our viewers from coast to coast, are going to be able to join y'all. So I wanted, or to participate. And so I wanted to go ahead and put up your website. And then you also have an Instagram, right?
Yes.
That everyone will be able to see when the March boot camp will kick off as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So to our viewers out there, if you're interested in joining this community, I saw that many community members are on watching y'all and giving love. So we saw Nina D just recently popped up, and she said hello to all of y'all and to her SuggaMamas community. So that was really great. It was like at the perfect time, just when we were talking about community, Nina sent y'all a message of love. So that's really great.
Yeah, I saw Lorna. I saw something from Lorna also. She's one of our faithful members. So yeah, thanks, Nina. She's another one of the faithful participants. So we're really excited about the community that we've created. And there's been relationships that have been created beyond the programming that we don't even know about, people connecting together. The other exciting thing that's happened is we have also been a platform for students. So we've had opportunities for medical students to join us, particularly because their clinical experiences are somewhat limited in terms of their community outreach. So being able to come in on one of our virtual programming and having access to so many people, hearing their stories, and particularly hearing the challenges associated with self-care has really been rather helpful to them. In addition, we've also have had some pharmacy students actually present to us. So we're also using the boot camp experience as an opportunity for students to get service learning, which we hadn't originally set out to do that. But as things evolve, as things unfold, we're just adding to what this opportunity can bring. And we're just excited about what the future holds for us.
Yeah. And Dr. Witt, you wanted to mention about some changes?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that, the boot camp had been 7 weeks, but we're going to be changing it down to 4 weeks. So that will allow people to have a little bit more time. Say, oh, I don't know if I can do 7, but at least 4, and it's going to be action-packed and all the good stuff in 4 weeks. So that's really exciting too. And so we learn as we go what benefits people and, how to get the people in the right space for a right amount of time, because this virtual world has changed everything.
Yeah, I do want to give a shout out to our executive director, Dr. Yvonne Perlman. She wasn't necessarily able to join us today, but we want to give a shout out to her and also a shout out to her vision and the work that she's been doing for so many years in the area of service and service to the community. And just thank her for all that she does for the organization, and he has allowed all of us to be a part of this. So we just want to thank her. In addition, we also want to thank all of our board members who tirelessly work at getting this program up and running. And I want to give a couple shout outs if it's okay. I wanted to shout out to Wendy Weiss, Jane, and I wanted to also shout out to Ken Addison, and I wanted to shout out to Dr. Pearson, who is our resident dentist. And we're so excited about having a dentist with us. And I thought that was one of the most exciting workshops, really, to really have a dentist front and center talking to us. So Mel Pearson, we thank you for that, and all of our other participants. But it's just been a great group of people who have volunteered their time to really ensure that this work goes on. And I can't forget Shasa Ravel, who has worked with us on a lot of our social media. She's actually our intern now from Howard. Again, another service learning opportunity for students to be a part of this. So we're just excited.
I like that you talk about students' involvement, because one of the things that's really important, I work with residents and with fellows, is that they're really interested in knowing information, in sort of doing, as you said, the community outreach and learning and participating and hearing what people are really asking about, because that helps to inform our practice. And I know that you said, Dr. Witt, that it was really great for you to be in this space, be in the boot camp, and kind of hear the concerns. Has that changed the way that you present certain concepts in clinic at all?
Oh, definitely. I mean, even when I'm out in the community and speaking, of course, I want to dispel myths, because we often say, I'm sure, the community of color remembers when they were younger, hearing someone say, yeah, I have a touch of sugar. And it's like, oh no, we don't use that term anymore. We use pre-diabetes, and we can control it. And I said, back then that was what they were saying. But I said, it's almost like saying you have a touch of pregnancy, which there's no such thing. So we really have an opportunity to educate based on what we hear and dispel those myths, answer those questions. And I just have to piggyback on what Serena said about people asking you as a physician of color, do you do those things? And I tell you, I compete with my patients. And so we walk, and can I also tell you that we are on our Fitbits together or something to see who can do the most steps. And they will call me out. Well, Dr. Witt, you must not have walked yesterday. I'm like, oh no, I got to keep up, because they will watch me keep up with my numbers. And so it's really a unique opportunity. A family doing it together. If she can do it, I can do it. If I can do it, she can do it. It's really a chance for the entire community to say, I need to take care of myself, and I got other people doing it with me.
Great. That's super. And Miss Linda, does this ring true for you? For how has SuggaMamas helped your friends, your family, your community?
Oh yeah, I bought a Fitbit also. But yeah, I told people I was doing this diabetes boot camp, and they, oh my God, you got diabetes? I'm like, well, I'm pre-diabetic, but I'm trying not to get diabetes. So I've told them about the program, and like I said, it just holds me accountable to myself. I don't want to get to that point of actually having diabetes and being on insulin, and like some of my friends, unfortunately. But I like to just say that for the average person who goes to see their doctor, and the A1C is high, and the doctor's quick to write a prescription, say, here, take this. There's no conversation mostly about what you should do as far as changing your diet, unless they refer you to a dietitian. I think most people really don't know what they're supposed to do. And as was said, I have a little sugar, and they thinking that the only thing that causes diabetes is sugar. So maybe I shouldn't eat as many cakes and pies and ice cream as I've been eating. The SuggaMamas program teaches you that there are other foods that will raise your A1C other than just the ice cream, the cake, and the pie. And I just think it's a wonderful program, because had it not been for SuggaMamas, I wouldn't know what I shouldn't eat or what I should limit, or I wouldn't have been able to identify exactly what a carbohydrate is or how many carbohydrates I should have at a meal or in a day. So this program is wonderful, because you don't get that at the doctor's office. You just don't get it. And like I said, if you don't share what you've learned with your family, friends, and peers, they don't get it either. In some kind of way, we have to spread this message throughout our community about what you should and should not be doing.
Yeah.
And can I just touch on that just a moment? Linda's making a very valid point in that we don't have a lot of time to go in depth.
Right.
But it is so important to be mindful that this doesn't happen overnight. And so a lot of times we give certain information as healthcare providers, but people kind of, I'll do it later. But what Linda is saying is that on a regular basis, she's getting information, trying new foods, trying new ways to do it. It's a lifestyle. And that's so important. And that's what we're trying to make sure people understand. It's a lifestyle. It's not something you can do today and not do it tomorrow or next week. And so this education piece really empowers you. Okay, I know if I mess up today, I still got another chance because I know what I need to do.
Yeah, I wanted to add something about nutrition. We really wanted to focus on nutrition, but we wanted to focus on it on a way that was practical. So we actually have Janetta Frazier, who is our vegan chef. And, you know, although her focus is really on plant-based eating, she has a way of bringing real information, real everyday information to eating. And I can recall the workshop that she did on how to stock a healthy pantry when we were at the beginning of the pandemic, when people were kind of running out, getting food and stocking up. And she really took a lot of time with us and looked at how we could, present this pantry that had foods that we were familiar with, foods that we were comfortable eating, but also to look at a healthy approach to these items. And, you know, she always slides in that plant-based focus, although she knows that we're all, a lot of us love meat, but doing it in a way that's helpful. The other thing that I want to make sure we include is that we are also a referral source. So many of the individuals that come to our boot camp are in need of a diabetes prevention program. They're in need of a more comprehensive diabetes self-management program. So we refer them to programs that we know that are available and that are close to them. And now it's even easier now because so many programs are going virtual. Our goal is to get you in the boot camp, get you excited about learning, but then we want you to sign up for the 1-year diabetes prevention program or for a more comprehensive diabetes self-management program. So we really try to hold on to the fact that we're a referral source as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Thank you for that, Neva. Thank you. So Dr. Witt, February is Black History Month. So thinking about the historical significance of this month, its celebration, and the current climate of racial and health inequities, what can a program like SuggaMamas mean to marginalized communities where people of color live, where mistrust in healthcare systems? How does the program address those in ways that others may not?
Well, I think thank you for asking the question. I think it's a great opportunity to see people that look like them and who are going through this with them, alongside them, and educating them. And so we don't realize the importance of being taught by people who look like you. And there's statistics that show how important that is. But, the layperson doesn't necessarily see that. But we know that trust is so important. And that's one of my passions, is if I gain the trust of my patients, and they say, well, if Dr. Witt can walk 3 miles a day, I can walk 3 miles a day. If she can eat asparagus and freekeh, I'm going to give it a try too. Yeah. But it's one of those things that we have to remember what was in the past. And so we can, compare the two. This is an opportunity to remember what we did in the past, but this is a new day. We can cook our greens differently. We can eat kale instead. My favorite thing is how to shop in the grocery store. I didn't know anything about all that. You're supposed to do the perimeter of the grocery store first. But I now learned that from the dietitians that's the way they made the grocery stores. So now I can educate, and then Linda can share with her friends. You're supposed to do the perimeter of the grocery or walls first. Don't go in between because you're going to get the wrong foods. But those are the kind of exciting things that people don't even know about. And so our community kind of gets stuck in the history. And so we're kind of afraid to get outside of that. But we can mix and mingle, integrate it together, and it works if we give it a try.
Yeah. And you said, I love how you said that we are meant to help each other through. Again, one of the slides from ADCES showed that very thing happening, right? So your community helping you figure out all of the things, supporting you along your journey because you've been there together. And so I think that, you know, what you all have is just so great. It's really fantastic. And I want to encourage others, you know, I want to, Serena wants to encourage our viewers to sign up for Houston Diabetes Peer Support and or for SuggaMamas. I think the more support you have, the more community you have, the more difference it can make in your life. Serena, do you want to add anything to that?
Exactly, ditto. But the one thing I did want to add really quickly is that what I've learned from doing peer support is also trying to help the participants to know that it's not smooth sailing. Remember, Joy, the squiggly line. And some people come in thinking that because you're the peer supporter, you're the expert, you know how to do everything, and everything that you're doing is working out perfectly fine. I personally put my life into peer support. I tell people when I'm doing bad, and I tell people when things have gone south, only because that way it kind of dispels the rumor that, okay, once I get to this point, then I don't have to work any harder. No, because diabetes is chronic, you have to constantly work on it because anything can go awry at any time. And that, to me, that is the I don't I guess magic, for lack of a better term, the magic of peer support is just showing people, well, it's not a perfect road, but you can get to where you want to go. It just have to be consistent.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask Linda, you know, we've had as many as 57 people in a boot camp at one time. And I just wanted to ask Linda, you know, with that amount of people, how did she feel about, you know, the amount of people that we have at a boot camp at any given time?
The amount of people did not bother me at all. I think for me, hearing some background noises with some people who were not muted, that was a distraction for me. But the number of people doesn't bother me whatsoever. No, not at all.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising to me how we gelled, how people just kind of gelled and were able to kind of interact with each other, even with those kinds of numbers. So, you know, that encourages me that we could probably take in a few more people.
But even with that number, a lot of them are shy. So it's only a few people that would actually speak up and speak out with that number. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them don't even want to show their face, you know?
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. We got about half and half, huh?
Exactly.
So that's important. And that's an important message, I think, because lots of times when people think, you know, you're going to do a virtual program, I have to show my face, I have to identify themselves, but you don't really have to do that. You can come in any kind of way you want. You could turn on your video, you can choose not to, you can speak, you cannot speak. It's really your choice.
True. Yeah. And can I add a little something? Talking about Black History Month. Last night, I just finished reading Just As I Am, Cicely Tyson's autobiography. And let's keep in mind that she lived to be 96. Of course, she had good genes and God was on her side. However, she watched what she ate. And she drank a lot of fruit and vegetable based, smoothies. So it can be done. This woman never gained weight. She stayed slim. I don't know what her numbers were, but I would have to assume that her numbers were pretty darn good to live to be 96 years old and be in her right mind. So, we can take a page from her book of life and we can do better.
Yes, thank you for sharing. I'd like to add, my grandmother was diagnosed at diabetes at 82, and she lived to be 102.
Wow.
All of her kids, though, got diabetes in their 50s and 60s. But that is why we have to go based on what you said. It can be done. It definitely can be done, but we just have to be mindful and not give up. We just have to keep being encouraged. And as Serena says, it's not a straight beeline to 102. We just got to keep working at it. And so I do make sure I live to keep that in mind. And then, of course, those people that are watching.
Excellent. So I love, and in like summation, that SuggaMamas places diabetes care and knowledge and support into a culturally relevant context. It imbues the traditional management of diabetes with actionable behaviors and experiences. And I think that one of the things that jumped out to me in the explanation of what peer supporters do that matches, I think, a lot with what SuggaMamas does, is that when it comes to an individual's health, their community may really be their superpower. And so this is one of the things that they showed. So alongside your health, your doctors, your nurses, your community, and this virtual space that you can be in can really be something that helps to offload the stressors and increase the knowledge and your skills and your confidence in those knowledge, in that knowledge and that skill. So what say you all?
Definitely. We all believe that we are super women, and there is a such thing as a superwoman syndrome. Sometimes we have to be careful about that. So I have a really good friend. He's a therapist, and he says, all right, when you come in, take your super cape off and just be you. So yes, we do need that superpower, but we definitely have to be mindful that self-care is so important. Can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, Dr. Witt. We actually have a program at SuggaMamas, and we do a workshop called Overcoming the Superwoman Syndrome, and it's hosted by Dr. Sean Blue. And that's an interesting workshop. It really is, because we hear a lot about how women are taking on so much and so much responsibility. So we listen to that and then we respond with our programming. But we want to, that's, all in our name, SuggaMamas. It's using our superpower as mamas, as women, and rethinking how we feel about diabetes, how we feel about diabetes prevention, how we feel about pre-diabetes, and really changing our lives and changing the lives of those that we are responsible to and for. So yes, our superpower, most definitely.
Excellent. And Dr. White, can you tell us a little bit about your dreams for the future? Because you've changed this, you've changed this platform so much.
My dream for the future would be, I would love for us to one day move SuggaMamas into a membership organization, and we would have SuggaMamas all over the world. I would love for us to take the boot camp experience and have it be a regular offering and really get to people where they are and give them the tools that they need to embrace a life worth living. And right now, more than ever, we need a hope. We really need a hope. And I see SuggaMamas as that hope, particularly in the area of fighting diabetes and getting rid of this, stopping it in its tracks. Yeah, that's my dream.
I love it. That's great. That's a great dream. And Dr. Witt?
Oh, well, I'm all aboard. I would do anything that needs to be done to get people to understand how important it is to make a difference. That's my goal, is to make a difference in somebody's life because they now eat asparagus or they now eat kale. Little steps make bigger steps. Walking, we just have to do it step by step. So I'm all aboard and being a help to Dr. Neva and making sure the program gives us those, as she said, the foundation so that others can go on and do the similar things.
Mm-hmm. Talking about foundations and expanding Neva's hopes and dreams. Serena, what about SuggaMamas in H-Town?
Oh, I'm already, you know what? I'm on it because I have a few participants right now that could probably really benefit from SuggaMamas because we do peer support, we do online peer support, but as far as with the exercise, the cooking demonstrations and stuff, I might even join in on a couple of boot camps just to share, because like we always say on MyDiabetesHQ, everyone can't do everything. So we should lean on each other. I may not do this, but I know someone who does. So, just kind of pass the love around,
And the beauty of the boot camp is you don't have to have diabetes, although we would love to bring in as many people who have diabetes, and you don't necessarily have to have prediabetes or even know you have prediabetes. If you just want to learn about your health or you're caring for somebody, you're a caregiver, come on and join and spread the word. That's the most important thing because most of us know someone who's struggling with diabetes and diabetes management or struggling with prediabetes. So it's important that we spread the word that these resources are available because some people, feel like they're alone in their struggles.
Yeah. And I think now you've expanded your crew here, at least by 1 and 2, right, Serena?
Yay.
And many,
Yes.
So thank you all so much for being on this morning and for sharing your incredible program and just of yourselves and your personalities. I can tell, how passionate you all are about what you do and how important it is for you to help others. I think we all are in this health space because we care about humans, we care about people. And so I think it's just really great to share with the audience, with our at-home audience here, and also amongst ourselves to kind of empower ourselves and sort of like rev up our passions together. So thank you all for being here on this Saturday morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we do have a quick survey on YouTube and Facebook where we would like the viewers to give your feedback on the program as well as recommendations for future episodes. Please make MyDiabetesHQ Live better by filling out the survey. It's been a wonderful start to Saturday morning with yet another incredibly talented group of speakers. To our viewers, we hope that this has empowered you to become a participant of a peer support, SuggaMamas, my Houston Diabetes Peer Support. just really getting yourself out there, putting yourself out there, getting your questions answered and your skills built. We hope that that you will reach out, help out in some sort of way, especially if you're a health provider. I'm sure that Dr. White and Dr. Witt would be very excited to have you be on their panel as well. So mark your calendars. We will be broadcasting every Saturday, 10 a.m. Central and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Our next episode will air on Saturday, February 13th. Thank you for being part of the My Diabetes HQ community. See you next time.